Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's August 25th, 2017. The big news, the hurricane about to make landfall on Texas, Corpus Christi in the middle of the storm, major city Houston in reach of the storm. Mainstream media is saying at this moment that after the flooding that is sure to come from this storm, there may be densely populated areas where people cannot return to their home for months. Just like what happened after Hurricane Katrina and other storms of history's past. Anyhow, this morning I put out a video which most people, if they're not familiar with me or my work, will dismiss in an instant as lunacy. And before, in June of this year, I had a channel with hundreds of hours of video, thousands of videos, and I had a lot of them on the history of the U.S. Weather Modification Program. A lot of people are not aware of the history of the U.S. government manipulating weather, which is a public record, and that's why it's so disappointing that so few people know about it. The video I put out this morning, somebody left a comment. They said, "Man, I love all your work, but don't you think you're getting a little crazy here saying the government could do anything with weather?" It's just so sad that I get a response from somebody who follows my work supposedly like that in 2017. America, we just don't know the facts. We spend our whole lives looking for entertainment and we don't know anything about reality. We know the names of corporations, where to eat, all this trivial knowledge. We don't have any information about our reality. We don't know what's in our food. Most of us don't know who our local representative is. We have so little information about things that actually matter, including the U.S. government's history of weather modification, again, a public record since the 70s. Since the 70s, at the end of Vietnam, the government admitted that for 5 years, from 1967 to 1972, they did something called chemical cloud seeding. This is spraying chemicals in the air to manipulate the weather to attract moisture. The purpose of this operation during Vietnam was to flood out the Vietnamese troops. It's already rainforest area. There's a lot of rain there. By increasing the waterfall, they were able to cause problems for Vietnamese soldiers. If you don't know about Vietnam, the soldiers relied on their feet. They had a lot of underground tunnels. The extra waterfall, made it harder to operate. Imagine going through the muddy jungle, absolutely drenched from increased rainfall, which was manipulated by the foreign power invading and fighting in Vietnam, which was us, the United States of America. 1967, that's 50 years ago. This is the 50th year of the admitted chemical weather modifications program. If they could do that in 1967, what do you think they can achieve in 2017 based on the way technology has increased in this world in that same period of time, knowing that all of these tactics are technology-based? And if you don't know the full history of the U.S. Weather Modification Program, it goes back to the early 1900s, the time of World War I. It was a rivalry that supposedly began between the superpowers. The United States, Russia, just like the space program, the nuclear program. The thought then by the world leaders was, well, if you can destroy somebody's weather, you can destroy their agriculture, you can destroy their society. And I want you to think about that in light of places like Africa, where they suffer from so much drought, and they can't grow crops and they can't come back. Madness is being waged on this world, and the people who live here, I don't have my phone, it's in the other room, but most of us have these phones that have access to all this information. It's fingertips away. And instead of people accessing this information as they can, instead when they're confronted with the truth, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "Man, that's crazy. I don't think so. That doesn't sound real to me." I mean, the average person is just such a dope. Can you imagine if the average person had never seen a television? Can you imagine if the average person had never seen or heard of a television and you explained it to them, knowing it was real? They would say, no way, man, that's impossible. That's impossible. Nobody could ever do that. That's how everybody thinks about almost everything in this world that hasn't been introduced to them, that they haven't experienced with their own eyes. It's just like I've been proving for years. Professional sports are rigged and technology is involved to ensure scores and outcomes. The whole world was just mocked in the world of basketball with what the Harlem Globetrotters did August 9th. If you don't know, they shot a basketball out of a helicopter and drained it. World record. First basket made from 200 and some feet above ground from a helicopter. If you missed my work on that, check it out. And if you missed all my other work in years past that Google censored, that's too bad. Just understand technology is huge. Technology rules us. It controls us. It's everywhere. You know, we're deep in the game in 2017. Weather modification from governments is a century old, 100 years old at least. From the time of flight. Got people saying they love my work, but maybe I'm going a little crazy on the weather modification in 2017. You guys really need to pull your heads out of your asses, seriously. You know, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to wake you up, get the word out. Everyone just wants to be entertained all the time. I'm waiting for this VidMe platform to upgrade my status so I can upload my videos. I see all these approved channels do nothing but make, you know, entertainment. This is what's wrong with the world. Everybody just wants to be entertained all the time. You know what? You don't have time to be entertained, slave. You live in a slave military state. You are a slave. What you should be doing is working to not be a slave to the military state. You know? Everyone's so pacified with this shit humor. It's not even funny. These shit shows that everyone's addicted to. Everyone's addicted to mediocrity and crap. Entertainment's all they know about. Junk food's all they know about. They think putting healthy food in your body is insane. Talking about the truth's insane. Trust me, I know because I've been speaking out my whole adult life. People can't wake up. What I want you to do is a search. I want you to type in HAARP History Channel. I used to have a video where I showed this video and broke it down part by part. Watch History Channel, which is actually on cable television, and what they revealed about HAARP. The military program, supposedly a research project. I think it's High Auroral Active Research Project, something like that. HAARP, HAARP. Supposedly, it's no longer active. Supposedly, they shut it down. But they built all these HAARP facilities from Alaska to the Pacific Islands we have. There's other HAARP facilities throughout the world now. These things shoot all these frequency up into the ionosphere, which then comes back down and interacts with Earth. It can warm the atmosphere. They can do all sorts of things. This documentary explains how they can accelerate storms, empower hurricanes, could even steer the path of them. That's from like 10 years ago. It's from after Katrina, which is 12 years ago now, when a lot of this information started to come out. People did research. The government had a patent for, you know, hurricane creation technology. Look all this stuff up. You know, I have videos from the past that have been deleted where I'm going through the sources showing you guys all this stuff. I know if you do the research, you'll find the same things I did. It's all out there. To not know about weather modification in 2017 means you're living under a rock when it comes to what counts. You know, amazes me how many of you guys know so much about the WWE. I always get embarrassed when I find out people watch the WWE. Don't tell me. This hurricane today, it's called Hurricane Harvey. They're saying it's going to be the worst since Katrina. Hurricane Harvey, in the language of gematria, which is how they code out all this stuff. Real quick before I show you Hurricane Harvey, I want you to know some Nikola Tesla, who said he had the technology to, you know, modify the weather, create earthquakes. I want you to know that this guy's name equals 119. And look this up. On the date of September 11th, there was a massive storm just off the coast of New York that never made landfall. It could have. Could have been like Hurricane Sandy, you know? Look it up, the day of September 11th. Whatever was going on out there in the ocean, I guarantee you that technology is also what they used to pulverize those buildings in the way they did. Those of you, again, who can't comprehend it, look, you can't comprehend anything. You can't explain how the television works, how the radio works, how a CD works, how your computer works, but you see all these things work. Just the same way you can't explain these things, but you know they exist. You know, go out and gather the evidence, and you'll realize there's zero doubt weather modifications going on. And then when you learn the code, you see how it's all done by the numbers. Hurricane equals 97, like Michael Brown's full name, the head of FEMA during Katrina. Covered that this morning. But Hurricane Harvey, also, for the record, Corpus Christi's on the 97th meridian, and it looks like it's going to get the brunt of this. Hurricane Harvey, I want you to notice the 229. That's the 50th prime number. We're in the 50th year of admitted chemical modification of weather. And for all of you out there who don't think they're spraying the skies, I can't help you. I mean, they're spraying the shit out of the skies across the world right now. I don't know where they're getting all the resources to do this. It's obvious it's an important thing for them to be doing. But what's amazing is how people don't see it. They don't see these planes making these crisscross tic-tac-toe patterns nonsensical with any flight that should be happening. They don't see this chemical spray and tic-tac-toe sitting up in their sky all day. They don't see what's wrong with that. They think it's normal. They say, oh, that's just the trail the plane leaves. Go back, to, if you grew up in my age, but that never happened. When a plane left a contrail, it was up there for minutes at the most. Not 5 hours that turns into a cloud over the course of a day. What they were doing in Operation Popeye back in Vietnam. Here's all this information that this exists, and people go, oh, that's just conspiracy crap. The New World Order, that's conspiracy crap. People say that. You got your presidents telling you about the New World Order, and people are saying, what? I don't think that exists. Like the presidents are conspiracy theorists. But anyway, Hurricane Harvey, 85 as well. We did the 229, the 50th prime, now 85. Storm has gematria of 85, so does the flood, 85. And they're saying this is going to bring massive flooding. Notice the 40 for the flood too. These are our two most important methods, reduction and the alphabetic order English ordinal. Two methods I taught from the beginning before we learn more. The flood, 40 days and 40 nights. Remember, United States, 40. Old Testament, 40. Could tell you more, but then YouTube might take the video down. So here was Mike Brown, who was blamed for Katrina. Mike Brown, 52. Katrina, 52. Hurricane, 52. Special number in government. His full name, Michael Dwayne Brown, 97 like hurricane. The fallout guy. The blame for the hurricane. This hurricane hit on a date with 42 numerology. The word rain equals 42. Also a date with 44 numerology. HAARP equals 44. This is Hurricane Katrina. They're saying today's in Texas is going to be the worst since Katrina. HAARP, 44. 26 is also the God number. Talk about playing God. HAARP was a military program, military 44. So many things in the military are 44. Infantry's 44, soldiers 44, troopers 44, officers 44, and more. It's the kill number. The military is a kill machine. Military equals 107. We invaded Afghanistan October 7th, 26 days after September 11th. The word crusade, 26. And we know it's all religious. It's all spiritual. The Abrahamic religions equal 322. We had Skull and Bones, 322. George W. Bush in there for 9/11 Katrina. Disastrous events at the beginning of his first terms, his first term and his second term. Both 9/11 and Katrina in the first year. Mr. 322, Skull and Bones. Ancient mystery religions is what the Abrahamic religions come from. Ancient mystery religions, 119 like September 11th, 322. But anyway, Katrina, date with 44 numerology. HAARP. HAARP's the weapon that can accelerate the storms, as even told about on History Channel. Again, Hurricane Harvey is going to make landfall today, August 25th. 8 plus 25, 33. We know about that number, right? But date with 70 numerology, Corpus Christi 70. Date with 52 numerology, Hurricane 52. We just talked about that with Mike Brown and Katrina, also 52. FEMA equals 25. They're saying it's going to be a FEMA test. Today's got the 25 numerology. It's also a date with 50 numerology, like Storm, Emergency, America, Donald, Hurricane Harvey, 229, the 50th prime. HH, Hurricane Harvey, HH, 88, Trump 88. They're saying it's going to be a big test for Trump. Bush and the Republicans failed, and Katrina. What will happen with Texas? We'll find out shortly. But the thing to know, weather modification, very real. Until next time.